Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a follow-on to my previous video, 5 reasons to get the iPad Pro 2021. Well, today we're going to do the flip side of that, 5 reasons that you can skip on the iPad Pro 2021. Before we get into it, for everyone that's new here, my name is Andrei, I'm a tech enthusiast, I do tech videos for a hobby. Without further ado, let's cue the intro and let's get started. So, reason number 1, pricing. Again. I'm gonna get hated for this one again because I got some hate when discussing in my previous video that the iPad Pro 2021 is a bit pricey. Well, it seems it's not just the acquisition cost that is pretty high. Apple put out the repair cost when they announced these products. They put out the repair cost, what it would cost to fix them, both the 11-inch and the 12.9-inch. And the 12.9-inch version is now 50% more expensive to fix when it comes to screen repairs, reaching a whopping $699. So if you get the 12.9-inch model and drop it, to put it mildly, it's going to be a rather expensive mishap, which makes Apple Care Plus pretty much a no-brainer in this case, or any other form of insurance if you can't for some reason get Apple Care Plus. Now, second reason, well, it's almost a computer, but not quite. In my previous video, I've talked about people who are using iPad Pros as laptop replacements, and that fits the bill for a lot of people. But also some may not actually be able to do that. You see, there's no Mac OS coming to the iPads anytime soon. There was an interview just after release with two very high-level Apple executives who said that Apple's very happy with maintaining the MacBook and the iPad as separate product lines because they've seen users usually tend to buy both. I mean, it makes a ton of sense for them. Why sell people one device that's pretty expensive when you can sell them two devices that are both expensive? All jokes aside, at WWDC we do expect some pro-level apps to make their way onto the iPad Pro and in the new version of iPad OS, but still, even with those, the iPad will not be quite a MacBook replacement for many people and for many different tasks. The third reason, performance. While the performance is fantastic, and I've talked about this in previous videos, in my previous videos, I also noted on the fact that Apple knows very well that consumers tend to hold on to their iPads for far longer than they do their phones. And as a consequence of that, iPadOS will usually support a great number of older devices. For instance, iPadOS 14 currently goes with support all the way back to the 5th gen base iPad. So to use a naval reference here, the speed of a fleet is given by the speed of the slowest ship on that fleet. Well, if you're not going to be using the iPad Pro for pro-level tasks such as video and audio editing and photo editing or that sort of stuff, you're not going to really be taking advantage of all of the extra power because iPadOS itself will be optimized with those older iPads also in mind. So yeah, if you're not really a pro, you may not see a huge performance benefit from the M1. The fourth reason, and this reason comes straight from the comments section. One of the comments on one of my previous videos about the iPad Pro said, it's basically a larger iPad. And that's pretty much true when you think about it. It's still going to be used mainly for all the other things that the iPads are used for. Gaming, media, video content, consuming content, and that sort of stuff. And at the end of the day, that means it's just a bigger iPad with a bigger screen. Again, if you're a non-pro, if you're a pro and you're going to use it for all the professional tasks that I've mentioned before, sure, it's going to make a ton of sense. But for most people, it just represents a bigger iPad at the end of the day. And maybe it's the same for you. The fifth reason, and this is pretty obvious, the previous two generations of iPad Pro are still amazing machines. I have the 2018 here, and the 2020 model is a slight improvement on this one. I've never thought of my iPad as slow. I've read scenarios, I've seen videos from other creators who use them for, again, professional level tasks and who would make use of the extra performance. But leaving pro level tasks aside for a moment, for everything else, these machines are still absolutely incredible and they are still among the fastest tablets you can get on the market today. So if you have one of those older models, maybe it's not very compelling to do the upgrade at this point. Even though there's going to be extra performance in the new model, it's just going to be an improvement on an already very successful formula. I have a sixth almost reason here that I want to discuss with you guys, and that's hype, tech hype in general. Remember that there's always going to be new product launches, okay? For instance, let's take Apple. We've now had the iPad Pros, the AirTags, and the iMac 24-inch. We now have WWDC coming up. Probably we're going to see some new MacBooks, some new iMacs, and that sort of stuff, and the hype is going to move to those products. After that, we're going to get new Apple Watches, new iPhones, again, new iPads, and so on and so forth. This cycle will never stop. And that's how companies operate, that's how they're in business. They constantly have to come up with new products. And we're all enthusiasts and we love that. And that's what kind of makes us a little bit more vulnerable to all the hype. So it doesn't necessarily make sense all of the time to upgrade to the latest and greatest model. The industry keeps churning out these new releases every so often because, well, that's how companies operate. And they need to generate all of the hype associated with these products to ensure that they get good sales and they make good profits, and then they can make another generation. So let's say you get a tech product on launch that's the latest and greatest in its category. You need to remember that the company, as soon as they get it out the door, they already start working on its successor, which is going to be, guess what? Even better, even faster, so on and so forth. How come? Well, releasing a product, preparing it for release takes months of work. And actually, before Apple, for instance, can ship iPhones or iPads in the tens of millions of units, they need production to start quite a few months before that. So the whole design process may actually be finished half a year before. In that half a year, they've already started work on the next product. So basically, the iPad Pro is going to be absolutely phenomenal. Well, probably Apple's already working on one that has the M2 chip inside. So always try and keep that in mind. Now, a small surprise in this video. What did I actually end up doing? Did I skip on this generation, or did I bite the bullet and go ahead and order it? Well, because I have the YouTube channel, I'm going to use it as an excuse, and I'm going to say I'm going to get the new iPad Pro for this channel. I've actually pre-ordered it. It's probably going to be some time before I get it. And when I get it, I'm going to then decide if I keep the 2018 model and just return the new one back to the retailer, or if I move the 2018 model on and I keep the new M1 powered iPad Pro. I've actually pre-ordered the base 12.9-inch model, and if you want to see me unbox it and review it and compare it to the older model, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that you don't miss any of my videos. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.